Today, we're going to be talking about lasers. These lasers are from Stabila. Also, there's an accessory. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I might show some B-roll of it quasi setup that complements it from fast cap, known as the laser jam. And y'all might be thinking to yourself, what does laser have to do with woodworking? That sounds more like a carpentry tool, finished carpentry or, rough framing. And you would be mostly right, but there is benefit to lasers for woodworkers. You may not actually use them in the actual project, but think about this for a minute. You do have a workshop, or if you don't have a workshop, you're probably thinking about getting a workshop. And you can use lasers in that, and I would explain that coming up. If you're new to the channel, I would like to invite you to subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a like and a comment. And as usual, if you're an existing subscriber, I do appreciate you. See you on the other side. Okay, I know. You're probably thinking again, what does lasers got to do with woodworking? Well, in a shop, especially in a small shop, you want to maximize space. And you have flat work surfaces, like an outfeed table, a table saw, a cut station or whatever. And when you're in a small space, it's a good idea to have as many co-planar flat surfaces as possible. So, when you're working with longer piece or, larger pieces, you have support. You can take advantage of those large surfaces, either to move stuff from one part of the shop to another part of the shop, or to move stuff through a cutting tool like a table saw. So you can use a laser, like in the case of this laser, or there's another type, I'll get into that in a second, which is a rotary type, which is even better, to make your various tops not only at the same height, but make them co-planar. So they're on the same, which means they'll be on the same plane. So let's start off with the concept of co-planar with a laser like this one. This is made by, do I have batteries in it? They're all made by Stabila. This particular one does a cross. You got vertical and you got horizontal. And it has a pendulum in it for self-leveling. I think it's plus or minus 5 degrees. I'd like to let you know that I've owned this for a while and they have come up with model replacements for these. If you're using it for the interior, which is where you'll mostly be using this product, everyone has migrated over to the green laser from the red laser, because they say the green laser will make your other fellow tradesmen green with envy. No, no, it won't make them green with envy. They say green lasers are easier to see than red laser. So that's the logic behind of it. The newer ones are using green lasers. And let me see if I have battery. If I don't have battery in this one, I'll start off on the other one. Okay, I do. I like this one. You can rotate it 180 degrees. Word of caution, just like any other tool, read the manual. You do not want to shine this laser in your eye or into anybody else's eye. It can do real damage. You pull the switch right here and it unlocks the pendulum, and the first setting is not leveling. The first setting is actually does a X. No, actually that's wrong. If I turn it off, which one it was? Is this one? Yeah, the first level you get a crosshair, but it's not self-leveling. It allows you to just get a straight line for layout. I don't know if you can see the laser on my hand. Straight line, or in the back up against that, it give you a straight line, vertical and horizontal. Okay, and then you can just get a plumb line, and it's using the pendulum right now to make it plumb, or you can get a horizontal line, and right now the pendulum is working to get level. And once again, not only in the case of a rotary laser would be better for that, for what I was describing earlier, making all your surfaces planar. What this crosshatch laser, sorry, well, it doesn't make a difference. Your light, my camera and your monitor can't reproduce the brightness of this laser. So don't worry about me shining it at you, it's not gonna blind you. That's a little bit from my audio video background. They don't put out enough light to reproduce this accurately. So you're not seeing the same. Me pointing this at you and you seeing it is not the equivalent of me pointing at me and looking into this actual light. But you can use this for your cabinetry, or if you have a workstation, you want to make sure that it's level all the way across the full length, the 16 feet or whatever the case you may have set up. You can strike a level line and work to that line for your cut station, or putting up your tool cabinets, or in the case of a tool wall, like I have my tool wall you've guys seen before, you can use that in the shop for leveling things. Your lumber racks, so many different things. Your clamping racks, so many things. You can use it for getting a straight level and plumb line. You might be building out the shop space yourself. You might be adding walls, and you can use this. Or better yet, the next one. Turn this off. Get the batteries out of it. The next one I'm going to show you. Oh, before I move on to that, this one has I think it's a 1/4-20. You could hook this up to a tripod and use it on a tripod. So that's pretty neat. The other thing is, if you're working with metal framing, this is magnetic. So it would stick to a metal surface like this. See? What else can I tell you about it before I put it away? I'll leave the specifications or a link. I'll leave a link to its replacement so you can see the specs on it. It's very accurate over a long distance. The only downside to it, and the other one I'm going to show you, is the fact that it uses. And I have intentions of at least my next purchase, which is going to be a rotary laser. It's going to be a Milwaukee one. And I want a rotary laser that's not just rotary in this plane, but in this plane. And the reason why I'm going to choose the Milwaukee is, one, is a M12. So y'all know how I feel about the M12 platform. The Stabila lasers are significantly more accurate than the Milwaukee liner laser. It's a superior product. I'll just tell you that flat. But for what we do in a typical space that we're working in, the Milwaukee, the advantage of Stabila does not outweigh the disadvantage of the Stabila. I'm saying that meaning that the advantages that I gain from the Milwaukee versus the little bit of inaccuracy, the little bit of accuracy that I lose, is not enough for me to go with a rotary laser from these guys for interior over the Milwaukee. The Milwaukee is not that much more inaccurate, in my opinion. Over a long distance, like let's say over 30 feet, then we could start talking. But anything within under 30 feet, which is going to be in most of our situation in a shop, or even on a job site in most cases, in the interior of a home, the Milwaukee one is going to be comparable within that limitation. Now you start talking about 100 feet, 200 feet, and so forth like that, then the Stabila is definitely, it's going to be head and shoulders above the Milwaukee. So that's that. It's very rugged too. You can see all the overmolds, and I mean the build quality is second to none. But once again, it uses standard batteries. I prefer the platform of the M12. So my rotary laser, I intend on getting one. Very expensive for it's typical with what's out in the market, but you're talking about $600 for the rotary M12 that I'm looking at. So let's move on. So this vertical horizontal plane, that's what this one is good for. This one is a plumb bob. You know the old plumb bob? You string the weight with a point on the end. So you can use it to transfer a location from like a ceiling to the floor for layout. In this case, you're actually building your new shop, and you have markings on the ceiling, and you want to mark where you're going to put a wall, or you might have a situation with lighting or whatever it is. You might want a light set up exactly over a certain spot. You could use a plumb bob to find a location, or something you want to mount from the ceiling, a dust hood or anything. You want to transfer a location from the ceiling down to a location below, use a plumb bob. Well, this is a laser plumb bob. Just like the other one, it uses AA battery. In this case, it's 4 instead of 3. And what it does, it shoots a laser straight up, and it shoots a laser straight down. And that's your plumb bob feature. But it does more than just plumb bob. It also will give you a perpendicular, and it's a dot. It's not a line, it's a dot. It will give you a perpendicular straight ahead this way to that dot up here. And it also give you a perpendicular straight out that way. So you could use it to lay out walls. You could mark a corner and then find a location in the ceiling, find a location out on a parallel wall to where the new wall is going to go, and find a location perpendicular to that wall and mark the location. It will leave a dot where you can mark. Very accurate. Very good tool. I do recommend this plumb bob. Did I put the battery in right? I may have not. Either that, I have these batteries for a while too. There is a possibility. Oh, that's what I did. I put in one side in backwards. And notice, guys, I removed the battery. I think I mentioned this before. Any device that you have that uses a battery and you don't use it on a regular basis, take the battery out. Okay, it will leak battery acid. It's not if, it's when. And it makes a mess out of everything. You'll be lucky if it doesn't destroy your investment. But that's something to think about. Remove the batteries. I don't care if they say it's leak free, whatever, just don't take a chance with these alkaline type batteries. I wouldn't take a chance. But here we go. Let's see if I can tilt my hand and show you. I don't know if you can see that. You can see that there's a dot right here in my hand. It shoots a dot straight up. And it shoots a dot that way. And it's self-leveling also, so I gotta keep it steady. It shoots a dot straight out. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the little light if I tilt it up, straight out. This, just as I explained, is a plumb bob. Nothing exciting, but it's very accurate layout tool. And that's it in a nutshell. This one also you could set up. Let me turn it off. Don't want to shine the light in my eye. Just taking you around the tool. That's the laser for the bottom, laser for the front, laser for the top. Now, you also do have that connection that you can put this on a tripod. But if you don't want to, I mean, to me, it's convenient enough to rest on the ground. But if you wanted to put it on a tripod, you can put it on a tripod also. There's one thing I forgot about the crosshair laser. It also came with a laser detector. And this is mainly for you. This mainly woodworkers won't use it, but I just mentioning it. It came in a kit. If you use this outdoor where you out in a far distance or there's a lot of sunlight, you may not be able to see the laser. So this is a laser detector. You use it with something called a grade rod or a grade stick. And this will make a beeping sound and you can find the laser. As a woodworker, unless you're laying out the building that you're using to build, that you're building for your shop, you won't have a use for this. But typically, this is something that a contractor would use. But again, if you're building a new shop, you can use this to lay out the footings. You can use it to lay out, the exterior walls, depending on the size. Well, even on a small one, if you're out in the open, that laser would be difficult to see. You probably want to use something like this. And this laser is a measuring tool. You use this to measure distances. If you do interior trim work, you want to measure a long length of wall for crown molding or something like that, this shoots out a laser beam and then reads it back and determines the distance, and it's very accurate. I think this is down to like less than a 16th or around a 16th of an inch. For trim carpentry, that's very good. And this is over a great distance. I think it's something like 200 feet or something like that. I'll leave the information. You can check that out on their website. And these have become widely available from all different brands. But Stabila was one of the first ones really doing precision. And it's still up there as far as its precision. As far as an accessory, we talk about tripods. I adopted, FastCap actually have their own laser, but I adapted their setup to work with my Stabila. But what this is actually their third arm setup. You screw these things together, and then there's a pump jack with pads on the bottom and on the top. You can put it all the way up to the ceiling, and it has a mounting for the laser. That's cool. If your ceiling is very high, like let's say you have a shop, you're the Bill Gates or Elon Musk or woodworkers, and you have a shop that has 20-foot ceilings, so you can't use this pump jack thing to reach the ceiling. It has a freestanding setup for it as well that you can put the pole into. I'm gonna give you all a little mini setup so you can have a little taste, because I do not know if I'm gonna shoot any B-roll for this. It clamps on very, very well. I like it. And you could put this in the middle of a room and you don't need access to the ceiling. Hopefully, I should be able to get it to work with the 360 laser. The 360 laser I'm looking at, when I get it, of course, as you guys know, I'm gonna do a review on it. But before I get into that, let me mention something real quick. This case came out with a spot that you could cut out to mount your laser in. So I keep my laser in here. Make sure I have no batteries in here. Yep. For long-term storage, I keep. These are the pads. So they're rubberized, so they don't damage your ceiling or your floor. It's not a big deal for the floor. Well, I guess if you have hardwood. And this is the ball head that it snaps into. Like this. And this is the pump mechanism for the this pole. It goes up like this. It tightens against the ceiling. Some good stuff. When you're done with it, it all breaks down. How this thing was. This way. This probably went down first. It has a nice storage case for it. And close it up. Handle, suitcase, carried away. Left one item out. But there you go. Everything is together. You saw how I keep this in my tool bag in the last video, always at hand. Once again, this, you probably as a woodworker, except for, you know, if you're building a shop or something like that, you probably would not use this part of it. But you can get the laser by itself. I normally keep this in my tool bag. This body here stays in my tool vest because I do a lot of, well, I don't do a lot in recent years, but I did a lot of like crown molding and wainscot and so forth like that. I use this a lot. But that's what I wanted to show you today. I know it may not be the most exciting thing, and it may not be the most woodworking related, but it does apply. As I said, you can use this for laying out your tool wall, or you know, your wall hanging cabinets or tool chests. If you get the rotary one, which we didn't have today, if you get a rotary laser, you can use that for making your flat surfaces the same height and co-planar. So these laser tools do have great value to the woodworker. Thanks for watching, and as usual, stay safe in the shop. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to be notified when new content is dropped on this channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and drop a comment down below.